Well, hello again, everybody. Welcome back to Desert Sky Adventures, and welcome back to Tombstone. Today I'm coming to you from just above the entrance of the Toughnut Mine, and we are in for a treat today because we are about to go into a place I've never filmed before, the Toughnut Mine, which is one of the more unique mines of the 200 miles of mine that labyrinth underneath the city of Tombstone. When I say unique, it is very unique because it is one of the few places in the world where you can have dinner and catch a show inside a mine. The Toughnut Mine Dinner Theater, and we're about to experience it right now on Desert Sky Adventures. One of Tombstone, Arizona's first mines, the Toughnut, opened in 1878. It was discovered by Ed Schieffelin, Tombstone's founder. It's played a huge role in the history of the town. The mine came to be one of two big strikes by the Tombstone Gold and Silver Mining Company. On March 5, 1879, U.S. Deputy Mineral Surveyor Solon N. Alice finished laying out a new town site on a mesa named Goose Flats at 4,539 feet, just above the Toughnut Mine. The area was large enough to hold a growing town, and it was soon named Tombstone, after Ed Schieffelin's initial mining claim. During the course of Tombstone's mining history, about $85 million in silver was produced from its mines. This man's name is Robert Davenport, and he's been the manager of these mines for well over 20 years now. He'll be our guide into the Toughnut Mine today.
This mine is one of the mines that Ed Schieffelin found as well. He actually found the Toughnut and the Lucky Tusk, which is just around the side over there. You'll see a picture of the Toughnut cut from the surface back in the days. That cut went right through here, right over into the campgrounds here. That was a hole that dropped 97 feet deep, and it cut right in through here. That was part of the cut.
And so we made our way down the hill and into the Toughnut Mine. As stated on their website, the tour requires you must be in reasonable shape since there is some climbing and possible crawling involved. Fairly strenuous, you must be in reasonable shape for this underground adventure. If any of this looks too extreme for you, you might want to try the Good Enough Mine tour that's not quite as physically demanding. But what an amazing experience to walk through these old mine shafts. It's almost like going back in time to walk through these tunnels that are older than Tombstone itself.
Okay, you see the red rock here says USMC, that's United States Marine Corps, 2013, because 2012 is when I had that flash flood. It filled it up to right about here. Well, it would have taken us a while to get it cleared out, but for beer and pizza, they came in and cleared it all out for us.
Cool.
So that was great.
Saved the day.
So that's an honor of them.
Awesome.
Come on down this way. Show you some of the minerals as we go through here. This was an important pocket here. This is pretty neat. Y'all can sort of root right in so you can see this way here. This is what they were pretty much going after. You look right in here, the dark green is malachite. It goes into some chrysocolla, goes into a little bit of irons back in there. Comes on in, there's a little bit of lead going into a little bit of silver right in here. Very little silver there, but that's what they were going after, was all of that in this area. That would be the ore body that they were looking for. Right. What happens is you're going through a fissure right now. A fissure's a crack in the earth. Those fissures get moisture in there, and that's where your minerals will build up in your sediment. Okay? Come on down this way.
Awesome.
Isn't that pretty?
That is.
Okay, come right on up to the intersection there. You can see up in there. You see the minerals up in here, crystals. That's a giant bug.
Yeah.
We've seen all the bugs, you know.
Wow.
Yeah, we've seen everything above ground.
Here's some of that chrysocolla we were talking about.
Yeah.
This is gem quality chrysocolla here. It's not
What's that mean?
real common to find a gem quality like that.
You can cut it and probably use it for stone or something.
Throughout the mine, I put different minerals that I just like, and maybe for no reason at all, I just like it for some reason. But this one here was pretty fascinating to me because this one is a conglomerate of just about everything. You've got a little lead in there, a little silver, tin, nickel, gold, calcite, It's got some of just about everything in it. It's just a neat piece. Not worth a whole lot, but it's just a neat piece there. This way here, if you go through, it gets down to about that high, and you can go through for about 80 feet through that, and you can end up in the Toughnut Mine. That's one of the ways. Almost all the mines here are connected. However, most of them have steel gates in between, which that way you can't get through them. Main reason was if it belonged to another company, you didn't want them going through and stealing your stuff. Okay, come on this way. This is a pretty neat spot here because you can see the rock going through, how it's coming up and it sort of levels out. This is the top of what they call an anticline. A lot of people in this area call them rolls. It's a roll in the earth. There are 8 major rolls in this area. Under those rolls is where a lot of their major ore bodies are. And that's what a geologist look for, the rolls like that, to be able to find the minerals in there. And this area here has 2 dikes, which is a metamorphic rock that penetrated through this sedimentary rock, which creates a dam. And moisture builds up there, and that's where a lot of your mineralization takes place. And you see how this wall's flat here. This wasn't carved this way. This is natural. This is part of that fissure I was telling you about, which is a crack in the earth. If you go over towards McNeil, over in that area, you'll see yellow signs that say beware of fissures. And it'll show you cracks in the road. Well, that's what they're talking about. A crack is something that usually happens from 1 or 2 episodes of major pressure in the earth. Sort of like you take a fermented piece of fruit, and when it ferments, it builds up pressure in it and it splits. Well, the earth does the same thing. It builds up pressure at times and it just splits. So we have some of those cracks. Okay? Come on up this way. This is a 1880s drill steel that I found in the mud here when this was wet. And some of the dynamite fuse here too. Oh, this is dynamite fuse. The dynamite fuse is pretty neat. It burned at 45 seconds to the foot, and it was fairly accurate. It was pretty neat. Now this area here, and everything I'm taking you through today was mined in the 1800s all the way up to about 1945. Now it was mined at first by hand and candlelight. Then in 1903, you got your carbide lanterns, and I'll be showing you some of the carbide stuff here in a little bit. And then you also got your hard hats about 1912. So, which we're glad to have the hard hats today, because every now and then a little piece does drop and clunks on the head. So that's why we all wear helmets all the time. Okay, come on down this way. As you go through, you'll start seeing changes in the rock and the mineralization. And it's pretty neat. You're going through tens of thousands of years of geology here. This is a good area here where you can see the fissure, you can see the crack coming through here. We were talking about the chrysocolla and how it's thin. You can see how the water's come down and it's sort of developing on there, but you can see how real thin it is. It's a very thin layer there. And I'll show you a whole lot better one. Here's an 1800s drill steel hole right here. That's from the 1800s. 4-pound sledge and a drill steel. This is some of the 1800s track here too. You can see the track, it's still there on the, they nailed them to like a 3x5. Be careful of the track on your left hand side, it has the nails in it. You can see how the nails go through. They brought this out because everything had to be brought out by wagon. So they couldn't have the real heavy gauge track, so they brought out the flat, it's called flat strap rail. And if you come on down this way, I'll show you how chrysocolla is a replacement mineral. Take a look up in there. Isn't that beautiful?
Oh, yeah.
Just absolutely gorgeous, isn't
But
it?
you need a.
No,
a
you
huge-
can't.
No, you need a, no, you can't.
I mean, it's all down.
But you're fine on the outside. No, but it's just the surface.
Yep.
Yeah, it's part of an old hammer there. Oh, nice thing about it is the weather here stays completely consistent.
Oh, gosh.
It stays at roughly 62 to 64 degrees in here year round with very little humidity. In other words, if something dies, like Herman here, my little kangaroo rat, they mummify. They don't actually disintegrate, they actually mummify. So that's Herman there.
That's fine.
Okay. Come on up this way. Well, like I said, be careful what you touch. This stuff here, if you touch it, this is what will cave in. It goes real slow. You can see how it's just real chalky, how it just crumbles.
It's fragile.
Okay? I come through and I scale this all the time. I scale it before every dinner theater. I'm down here scaling every bit of this to make sure. In other words, what I'm trying to do is get it to fall down. Okay? Trying to get it to break up. It's house cleaning is what it is for mine. Here is basically a hydrothermal vent pipe. Okay, if you scoot up just a little bit, so everybody can see here. This is a vent pipe, and this is pretty neat because if you look right here, you see sort of a bubble right here.
Okay.
And then inside it, you see another bubble. Those are actually collapses. And that's what we look for in geology, to be able to figure out what's going on. This flow here went fairly slow. The neat thing about it is if you'll reach up, cover your lights. Okay, turn one off.
Okay.
See how it all fluoresces.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that beautiful?
That is.
That's long wave, right? Long wave or short wave? Fluorescent.
This is a 365
Oh, okay.
long wave, short wave.
Short wave, short wave, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is when you don't want to shine on you because it'll burn you real fast.
Yes.
You'll see this goes up. If you saw the gray satellite dish out there, that's covering the hole here.
So we stayed at the miners' cabins. Was this the one? Is
Oh,
this out
okay.
front of it?
No,
Up there's
Okay.
light.
No.
You can see. So
the
we're about-
one
or the feet
there
down.
belongs to my way up mine.
Okay.
Yep, that's our mine too.
Okay.
And the nice thing about it is the webbing on it is small enough that rattlesnakes can't get through.
Oh, very good.
Because I used to have to come in here before the tours and
God.
get the rattlesnakes
Oh,
out.
God.
Pull it out, right?
Yeah.
So it's a lot nicer not having to worry about
But
them.
we already seen
That's
four of
next
them.
day. I didn't know
In
that.
the past.
They're worse even.
Oh, look at that.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
That's- Can you see over here?
Yeah, yeah. Wow.
Yeah, that
See all the way up.
short wave fluorescence is amazing.
Okay, if y'all want to scoot right on down,
Let them
so you else can see it then. Yeah, that was my partner back there.
It's like Back to the Future, right?
Yep.
Oh, wow.
So it ends right
This
there.
hole here you can see is about 8 feet deep now. It was 6 stories deep. That's how much rock I moved to get this dinner theater open. So we just put the bridge across there. I'm getting ready to build a wall right there and make that like a blasting powder room
Oh, okay.
back there, which will actually just be to store my
How'd you
supplies.
move all the rock just by hand? Pushed all the
Did
rock?
all by hand. Yep. And this is what I scale with here. This is one of my scaling bars here. And then they use shovel too. So that's how I scale all this here. And then in the large room, it's 25 feet to the roof there, so I have a real long scaling bar and I use that there to do that. I do it all and then I have guys come in behind me as safety and check it behind me and make sure everything's good and secure.
Yeah.
So do inspections on the mine. This here you can see some of the old strap rail here and see how they had nailed it to the board. And that's the way this worked. This was, mainly they used half-ton carts on these because the 1-ton carts was too heavy. It would warp the strap rail and break the strap rail. Later on, when they were able to get the trains into Tucson, they started bringing in, actually from Casa Grande to begin with, they started bringing in a little bit of the heavier gauge track. But you can see where the track ran right here. This is where the work carts ran here.
That's cool.
As you come down here, be careful because there's a little bit of track on your left and then on your right hand side above the ground surface. You can see where the tracks ran here. Do we have a ladder here? I'm going to have you come on down the ladder. Come all the way down the ladder, and then at the bottom I'm going to have you stop, and I'm going to show you some stuff on up. On down.
Okay.
Okay, remember seeing the head frame up on the surface up there?
Yeah.
That's
Oh, wow.
where the head frame is, and this is the bucket that brought your food down. Okay?
Oh, wow.
Okay, stop right there and then look straight up.
Oh, wow.
You're 100 feet down now. Okay? If you want to ride on down, watch your footing as you go down.
That's the,
Okay.
that's dinner. Okay. That's today's dinner, right?
Yeah.
Commissioner did it.
Okay, this is the big room. This room, the total length of it's about a football field and a half long. It's a big room. And we've got several things in here. We've got some artifacts here. If you ever saw Diggers on National Geographic,
Yeah.
they did several shows down here. It's their, excuse me, autographed stuff there, and they autographed her ladder too. Now we've got some food cans here, a little bit of twine, and a dynamite crate.
This was all
Come on
found
around
out.
this way. We have some of the minerals here that, these are just some of my favorite ones I found in the area here that we brought up. These two here came from way down there,
Wow. Yeah.
down that way about 100, 150 feet down. Beautiful piece of calcite, isn't it? Yeah, that's
gorgeous.
a whole piece of calcite there.
That is. Damn.
That's amazing how you have to get the
Beautiful.
ones.
Yeah.
This is from a vent tube. You can see how it's round. It was completely
Ooh,
round.
That's weird the way it.
vent tube. If you ever do the intermediate tour, the Toughnut tour, which
Yeah.
I'll put a rappelling harness on you and belay you down to the 200-foot level.
Oh, wow.
You'll see that vent tube.
You have a tour like that? Whoa.
Yep. This is the winds that takes you down to the 200-foot level.
Wow.
This drops straight down. The light is at the 50-foot level. Give you an idea. That drops down another 100 feet, goes down to the 200-foot level.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
It goes way on down. Fluorescent museum here.
Oh, okay.
I put together. Everybody cover your lights.
Okay.
Show you some neat stuff here.
Oh,
So you
yeah.
can see the bluish purple there, that is your fluorite. Okay, the
Oh, the-
white is your calcium carbide. And then the red here is your black calcite.
Beautiful. Wow.
Now you heard me mention a hydrothermal vent shaft. We know it was, hydro is water, thermal is hot water. The reason we know it's hot water is black calcite is hot water, white calcite is cold water. So that's how we know the difference. And this is a pretty neat piece here because you see the calcite here, and then you see fluorite going around, and it's around the limestone.
That is
So
cool.
that's a pretty
The way
neat
it
piece
did it,
right there. I
yeah.
love that piece.
Square.
Wow.
You can see all the different other ones are found in this mine too. We have El Paso Herald from 1918, Christmas Day,
Wow.
right here. One of the last things I found was a miner's shoe. How would
That's
you like
what they
to
wore?
work in a shoe like that?
Oh my God.
You see how thin they were, and that's what they worked in back in the
That's
day.
crazy.
It's pretty crazy. You see some of the dynamite crates, Prince Albert cans. A stick of dynamite over there. I took the powder out of it, but that's what the stick of dynamite looks like, and some dynamite fused there. And then this is the toolbox for the miners. What it actually started out as was probably a can of grease or lard or something like that. I told you the flat strap rail, you saw that, and it can't turn. So what would happen is when it went into an intersection, they'd have a steel plate there. That steel plate, they would have track coming off at a 90-degree angle there. So the miner would have to push the ore cart onto that steel plate, then manhandle it around, get it lined up, and get it on the next track. Now, give you an idea, the ore carts that I have up there that you guys saw behind that gate there, one wheel is 50 pounds.
Whoa.
That'll give you an idea of the weight of it. Now you add a half a ton of ore and a half ton cart, or a ton of ore. That's average ore cart weighs in between 500 to 600 pounds. So you're talking about 2,500 pounds that he's got to try to turn.
God.
That's why they put the grease in there to make it slick. But after they were done with the cans, they used everything.
Yeah.
They tore half the top back, put 2 holes in it, one for the sledge, one for the drill steel, and they put a handle on it, and that's a miner's
what
toolbox.
Oh, God.
So they utilized everything down here because they didn't have much out here. And look at the prices on some of the stuff there.
$2.
How'd you like to get a fur coat for $14?
There you go.
Yeah.
How long did they stay down here a day?
10 hours a day.
10 hours. Wow.
That was on the average. They stayed 10 hours a day. At the end of 10 hours, the crew would leave. Everything would blow up, give 2 hours for the dust to settle. Then another 10-hour crew would come in. Okay, come on over this way. These burlap bags is what they carried the ore out with back in the day. They carried the burlap bags, would carry it out until they got the regular ore carts going and everything. Everything in here had to be drug out.
Yeah.
This was sort of a processing room here. They actually had a rock crusher in this room, and they would crush the rock up. Then it would go down that winze. Down that winze, at the bottom of that winze would be where an ore cart would be. They would push it on over. It would take a turn. Then it went down just about 100 yards down is the Toughnut Mine shaft. Okay, come on up this way. Now as you come through here, watch your head that gets a little bit low down here. And stay to your left, because on the right-hand side, I have a hole that drops 100 feet down. Okay? I do have a guardrail here, but don't lean on it, please.
Sweet. And with that, we made our way into the dinner theater room. What a great location. The ambience was fantastic, and you get a feel for what it was like to be a miner eating down here almost 150 years ago. The meal itself consisted of chili, cornbread, apple cobbler, which was all really good, and your choice of water or coffee, just like the miners had back in the day. But at least we have a table. I doubt they did. While you're enjoying your meal, you can take in some actor portrayals that are based on actual Tombstone diaries written by residents of Tombstone back in the day.
Well, I dozed down underneath the window there, hoping the adobe would protect me. And while I was there, I wondered who in the world would want to hurt Dr. Goodfellow. Well, he'd done nothing but good work all the time I'd been here. Very quickly, though, after those gunshots started, they stopped. Well, I went downstairs as fast as I could to help my good friend. And I got out on the street. It was dark, quiet. There was nobody in the street.
So that was the Toughnut Dinner Theater in the mine. Very, very unique experience. What did you think?
I loved it. It was fantastic.
The original hose that they used for the steam lines coming about 1920, 1930 doing the drilling
Oh, wow.
with pneumatic tools. So that's one of the original hoses.
Wow.
So I'm leaving that there because everything stays pretty
Look
good
at all
down
that
here.
stuff, yeah.
Yeah, more some
Picked up copper and dry rot in no time.
Let's go. Go sideways. It's easier. Okay.
The Toughnut Mine Tour and Dinner Theater is truly one of the most unique experiences that Tombstone has to offer, and I highly recommend you try it if you get the chance. And keep in mind, this tour does not run during Arizona's monsoon season, but for more information, you can go to their website at goodenoughsilvermine.com. But with that, our time in the Toughnut Mine has come to an end, and we are making our way back up to the top level.
Alright guys, well that's going to wrap it up for our look at the Toughnut Dinner Theater and Mine Tour. I want to give a big thanks to Robert, the manager of the mine, for allowing us to not only come in and film, but also show you guys what the experience was like. I thought it was fantastic, and it's something you definitely want to try if you get the chance. So thank you very much for watching. We appreciate you all, and until next time, we'll see you down the road.